Hello. Hello, humans. How are you wonderful little people doing? It's Monday. It's Bank Holiday Monday. Oh. Ooh, hold on a second. Let me just have a little look here. First of all, I don't want to be hearing myself twice. So let's just pop out the chat there, just in case. Alright, live, okay. We can stick that up there, so just in case. And, okie dokie, yeah. Mute the tab, not the player. There we go. I'm sure that doesn't work anymore. I said this last time. Oh, what's my housemate saying? Oh, talking about Scrum. Ooh, Scrum. I agree. Stop doing Scrum. Why are you still timeboxing, boys? I don't know why you're still timeboxing. Right. Where are we? Ooh, Flotsam. So, yeah. Today, yeah. Take a look-see at Flotsam, which is a TTRPG about being the people who aren't in the television episode, right? So the main example that kind of sticks out in my mind that they mention is like the down below in Babylon 5, right? Most of us we don't really worry about because there's only one of us. Safety. So remember, kids, stay safe. Honestly, it's hard to get by a day without someone telling someone else how to run their tables and being very emotional about it. And I'm like, stop telling each other how to run each other's tables. You don't play at each other's tables, so it doesn't matter. Like, legit. Stop it. Look after your own table and share good ideas that help. Because there's a bunch of stuff that is kind of like almost sacrosanct in like the safety side, where you're like, that tool's not as good as you think it is, right? So they're okay. Like lines and veils, it's okay. It's an okay tool, but the problem there is that you might be forcing someone to engage with trauma just through the process of line and veils, right? So it's okay, but it's not great. I'd say probably the X card is the best tool. But this is why if I play public games, there's, content warning, X card, notification of any lines and veils, but don't think too hard about it, right? I can't be so things like script change. I'm like, I don't really see how. Yeah, it's more useful than X card. But I don't play with people I don't know anymore. So that's my play group. We've been playing together for how long now? 20 years? 15 years? Yeah. We've been playing together so long that one of us has died. That's how long we've been playing, right? So, and we're all old, crusty dudes. So, old, crusty slimes. But still, important. Bear in mind, always consider. Always know your audience, kind of thing. But anyway, other than that, I love the art in the book. It's really kind of evocative. Um, I actually think that the cover art might be like some of the least exciting art in the book. But I mean, I think it tells the story for what they're trying to do. So this is cool. Anyway, let's see if we can figure out how to set something up. So discuss your preferences. I also think that again, the problem you often have is that you just want to get in, play a game, get out, right? And particularly if you're doing one shots, uh, a lot of the tools and a lot of the prep talk can be got 3 hours to play. You've blown an hour either end plus breaks, right? You're down to an hour and a half to play. You're not going to really get anything done. And as someone who has run kind of team alliance sessions and coaching sessions and stuff like that, sometimes you need to nice and brief and get into the meat of the actual process. Anyway, that's me rambling about that. I only thought about it because someone was once again on threads talking about it, and I'm like, people. Leave each other alone. Anyway. Flotsam. There's no one right. So discuss tone. Okay. Is there any particular fiction that you'd like the game to draw? And I should probably have a. Oh, I was going to change my background as well. Something a bit more. Let's go to a different room in the house. Yes. Browse. Something a bit more. Which one do we think? It's hard to tell because it's all so far away from where I am. Let me bring this box over here into this screen where I can see it. Let's use this one. Let's use this one. Okay. There we go. Everyone likes a bar. Welcome to the Slime's bar. There you go. Let's get an Obsidian document open. And solo plays, new folder, Flotsam. Or maybe this should be small games. So the thing that I'm really always interested in thinking about is the hierarchy, right? Or the matrices of hierarchies in which we are trapped from birth until death, unless something exciting happens. Unless we start clapping back at fools. Sorry, that's untitled notes. Let's call it notes, and let's get it up on the screen. Obsidian, select, not Castle Caldwell because they're all dead. Notes. Let's open this up and bring it over here. Yeah. Okay, notes. Cool. Top bananas. And let's just bring... No, not there. There. Like so. Right. So, tone... influence. So my influence is actually I'm feeling like Neuromancer, Cyberpunk 2020, and what I'm actually thinking about here are the orbital stations around Earth, right? So if you've done the kind of early William Gibson stuff, the orbitals were kind of created by um, largely the engineers and whatnot that went up there were from marginalized groups because they were the ones who were like easiest to exploit and send up and who were willing to do the work. And so they kind of constructed a society up there separate from the world down here. Whilst still there were like the corporations and whatnot were heavily present, right? Um, so you end up with this very interesting kind of dichotomy where the kind of high spaces, the free spaces, whatever we're calling them, are both under the boot of the hierarchies, but also are somewhat separate from it. So they're in a way self-sufficient, whilst not being able to be entirely self-sufficient because of frank realities of the situation. Anyway, so that kind of feels so like corporations, capitalism gone. Capitalism. I don't need to say anymore. You're gonna run in theme, right? Corporations, capitalism, etc. Right? I think those are the big ideas. You know, think the Expanse, think Babylon 5 is so there's a really interesting thing that you always kind of and Babylon 5 did it where it had the down below, right? This idea of, oh well, why don't you just do something about it? Why don't you just make their lives a bit better? I don't understand why are you consistently making these decisions to maintain this situation? I can't imagine that it would have been too hard to kind of accommodate the people that lived there, formalize them, allow them to have a voice, etc., etc., etc. But of course, except for the reason, which is then it would, then there wouldn't be a group of people to continuously threaten the worker with, right? You could be worse. It could be worse. You could be down below, right? If you started cleaning up for, helping them find solutions, there'd be less crime. It would be a more attractive vision. It would set up a parallel society and parallel options to the formal society, right? Of very square-looking suits and having to work and kind of get crushed by machinery in the docking bays and stuff like that, right? So that was interesting, right? Labor movements, etc. Right? So tone. We're kind of getting a feel for the tone, right? Punk, man, anti-capitalist, anti everything I like, patriarchy, right? Anti-hetero, cis heteronormative, right? This is, fight it, right? Everything else becomes anti-white supremacy, of course, right? We gotta start small. Start with the easy things to deal with, right? So it's going to be kind of like punk. It's going to be grunge. It's going to be punk. It's going to be grunge. Interesting, though. You often think about grunge. It's kind of check in, spark up, check out. Kind of like it's going to be like punk. Probably look at like drill, grime, drum and bass, kind of militant, right? We'll see how this changes as we go through. This is going to feel, but also less of that. militant, grunge, but also, what was I thinking about there? Solar punk, right? Right, these are going to be people who are trying to find a way in this kind of nightmare space. This is something. So that's something else that I really want to. I know that if we were talking about like one-page RPGs, is that how to do something solar punky would be cool. The problem is that if you want, I feel, much as with like Andrewism's channel, right? The really interesting stuff for solar punk is like here and now. And I think it can be difficult to set games, particularly tabletop RPGs, in the here and now, right? It makes people uncomfortable, and you can, mess up and, get out of your lane, so to speak. So yeah, that's a thing to bear in mind. Which is why often we'll look at, particularly someone like me who really lives a proportion of their life sat on a pile of hay in the corner of a dungeon, right? I'm just lighting an incense stick. I should probably open the window as well. I'm probably suffocating in my own miasma. See, you'd think for that I spend lots of time kind of glooping out in an exceedingly hot bath. Which, thanks to you humans, is progressively easier given the fact that you keep on trying to cook the planet. Solarpunk, right? Yeah, solarpunk, cyberpunk. Write down a list of story elements that are in or out. So, right, elements out in out. I think are just aliens. Humanoid. I should think, yeah, humanoid aliens in. Well, I mean, AI, androids, cybernetic, and biological replacement parts, biological in corporations, yeah, also I particularly out conception of good cop, because there isn't such a thing. In exploration of the human condition, anarchism, consensus building, wild greening, a guerrilla greening. Go out and do it. It's my message to you, human, on the other side of this. Do guerrilla greening. Get to it. Make the world a garden again, right? And some of this will probably collapse once we start looking at making our character, right? Other thing with this, right, there's always a hopeful, right? We need some hope in our lives, especially nowadays, man. Especially nowadays, we need a little bit of hope. Discuss the reasons. There's only me here. Well, there's me and you. But yeah, the reason is just because this is the stuff that interests me. And I don't need to be open to other people's preferences unless anyone has an idea. So that's cool. Really awesome pictures. So the aliens thing is that we tend to find that aliens are proxies for human things, but bad. Poor proxies, right? an awful lot of a thing in Star Trek, right? You know, where the humans. Oh, look, this is kind of like a take on a certain value structure or social structure that exists. When okay, setting up your primary. Each player has a primary character who comes with a playbook, provides specific but flexible set of characteristics to help you get started straight away with a colourful, engaging character. The playbooks are on page 73 through 103. At the start of the game, read out the introductory text from each playbook. Each playbook can only be chosen by one person. Convenient, given there is only one slime here. And slimes are people too. Once you've chosen your playbook, select options from the multiple choice lists. Choose 3 strengths and 2 weaknesses, preferably including at least 1 flaw. Yes, flaws are good. But I would normally weaknesses would probably include flaws. So once you've chosen a playbook, select options from the multiple choice lists and choose 3 strengths and 2 weaknesses, preferably including at least 1 flaw. Okay. Should I have printed this out and put a used a prop? Probably I should have. Can I still say it up? Strange slime noises. I probably can, right? I don't. It's not hard. It's not hard, folks. The alternative, it would be if I've got a fillable sheet. Are you fillable? No. And these are these look like they're pre-filled some of the time, are they? Let's check. 1 second. Characters, write down the name of second characters. Origins. Play moment by moment, following the logic of fiction. Nobody owns the world, yada yada yada. So this is a blurb. This is a book. So the one thing we should check, so like the Thunder, here it's got your gang ticked. So if we go to Flotsam and we go to pages, or no, there we are, your primary page. The playbooks, yeah, 73 to 104. So if we go to like the Thunder, choose a look, choose 1 to 3 wardrobe style, choose thingy, origin, principles, relationship, history, special move, strengths, scrutiny questions, weaknesses. So here, it's interesting because actually inside of this book we only provide this section of the playbook. So let's just go back. So the Thunder, right? Choose if we go to that, and then we have a look at this. So this is the Thunder. Spend a token. So choose a look, choose nature, origin. Oh, alright. So these are always different. Okay. Choose a name, choose a look, choose 1 to 3 wardrobe styles. Choose the nature of your territory. Origin, principles, power and control, identity and belonging. Relationship questions, history questions, when you rely on me to protect you, gain a token. Strengths, intimidating, authoritative and respective, skilled warrior, empowered with authority. Contacts, your gang, toughs with guns and knives, highly defensible territory, a high-tech armory, secret routes in and out. So what I don't understand is why that's tick. Why that's got a colour in the box, unless it's just a mistake. Oh, you can't see this because, of course, it's in long screen, not short screen. Let's take this out for a minute. When you rely on pretending gain a token. Okay, so activate a weakness and invite trouble to mark the weakness and gain a token. So I guess this is the blank playbook. Okay, well anyway, let's have a look through the. Ooh, what was that? Something just arrived through my letterbox. I believe that these are the ibuprofens for my housemate who has broken their foot. Is it the ibuprofens for the housemate? It is the ibuprofens for the housemate. I had to explain to the housemate that Ibuprofen Express didn't have codeine in it anymore. Because in the UK, they removed codeine from all of the over-the-shelf products. Which is a shame, because codeine's great. So let's read through these titles. So, the Thunder of the Blow is a lawless place, teetering on the brink of anarchy. The Thunder is one of the people that holds... So, okay. Interesting use of the word anarchy here. Interesting. Yeah. Chaos. Yes. Chaos, anarchy, anarchism. Separate things. But anyway. They might be the official enforcer, or a little more than a criminal, but they and the people keep the peace. See, this character, for me in my setting would be. This is part of the establishment, right? They want to maintain the civilized, in inverted commas, configuration of society. So we're not going to play one of those. The spider. What do you need? Whether it's food, drugs, or information, the spider could get it for you. Doesn't sound like a very interesting character to play. I mean, it's interesting as part of a group, but for a solo play, it doesn't feel very interesting. The voice. Down here, people are short on hope and purpose. They look to you to provide it. You might point them to higher ideals, a sense of unity and belonging, or maybe you're just the sort of person people like to follow. You've got a way of getting people to do what you want. See, again, this could be interesting, but you could also see this is just more of the normative society stuff, right? One leader, people follow the leader, etc., etc., etc. Particularly, let's if we have a look at the if we look. You can't see it because so the voice, spend a token to ignore complications and narrate what happens. Your followers are a flock of devotees. So that immediately I don't like this class. Don't want it. The Sibyl, you have a gift powers that set you apart from normal people. Some say you're cursed. Some say you're chosen by the gods themselves. You may be loved or feared, perhaps both. You must choose your words and actions with care. You will always be alone. So this is okay. Maybe this is more interesting of a character. But let's carry on. So Those first, some of these have, yeah, I don't know why some of these have uh, a mark in them and some of them don't. And it doesn't explain, which is irritating. Irritates me a lot. I don't. Mm. Okay, the Cybele, so that might be interesting. What would you give anything for? When have you felt truly happy? Okay, well that's interesting. The Hybrid. You look human, but inside something else lurks, a shard of something greater. Your strange nature sets you apart and makes you more and less than human. You have a shadowed past, either in the service of this shard or belonging to other incarnations. If anyone knew, they would surely hate and fear you. Okay. Special move. Give me a chance to prove myself. You gain a token. Strengths. Inhuman physicality. Rapid healing. Psychic weapons. Uncanny stealth. Superhuman. I don't understand. I don't understand the relationship between the playbooks that I have here and the playbooks as they're described in this book. I don't understand what the R means either. Anyway, right. So the hybrid, maybe. The cast-off. You once lived a life of prosperity and stability. You had a place in the world. You had respect. But it all came crashing down around you. Now you're barely scraping a living, and sometimes not even that. You live off your wits, bartering what skills you have. You work for whoever will pay. I just hope your past doesn't catch up with you. Choose 2 previous employers. Why you're down here. Principles. Okay, this character sounds interesting. The cast-off. Just look at the cast, and also, fortunately, the cast-off doesn't have anything ticked already. I still don't know what these mean. We'll find out. Strengths, repair, hacking. So yeah, you pick 2 strengths, right? Maybe the ones are already marked in because they're so foundational, which kind of removes one of your 2 options. I presume that's what it means. That's what it means. Let's go with that. Because I don't want to print everything off. I'm only going to print off the one that we're gonna play. So the cast off, I'm feeling the cast off. Okay. What are the R's for? We'll have to find out. The scum. You were born here down in the dark. You came from nothing, and you've still got nothing. Those above regard you with complete loathing, but down here you belong. You know this place like no other. That's cool. Maybe I'll play 2 characters. Maybe we'll have 2 characters. We'll have cast off and a scum. Because that sounds cool. Oh, look, that's another really great picture. I love the art in this book. The outsider, you're not from around here, not part of the below or even the station. You're stuck here for now, pursuing your aims or performing your duties. You're getting drawn into a local life down here, whether you like it or not. This is an interesting alternative to the in many ways it feels the cast off, right? They're kind of similar. conceptually, which is very. Except the cast off was from the outside and has begun to intertwine themselves into the system. The outsider is just completely new to the situation. The vapor. You're not one of them, the beings that live down here. You are an entity unbound by flesh, not a part of human society, and far beyond human concerns. But something draws you into their world. You pursue your own aims, but will you make a place down here? So I reckon this is far more likely to be an AI, given our confines earlier. A lot of playbooks, which I like. I like a lot of playbooks. Nice picture. Okay. So I'm kind of feeling the cast off and the scum. But also, in a way, I think that the vapor's kind of interesting. Let's have a look at the vapor's sheet. So I think I'm going to throw in a vapor as well. So that's 3, but I don't think we're going to play with the vapor much. The vapor is just going to be a slide line thing. So that's pages. Let's note down these pages. Let's get out a notebook. But slime, why don't you just put it into Obsidian? Because I'm looking for the notebook now, so suck it. I got a notebook. And I've not set up the camera, but let's set up the camera now. Come you. Camera software. I should really glue this thing onto that thing. That would solve so many of my problems. That was useful. A useful statement, yes? I should glue that thing onto that thing. And then the things will thing. Right. Okay. If I could do to have a little check, a little look see, let's make sure that yeah. There we go. I was sat there making it sound like this was going to be a whole load more work than it was. That was it. I've set it up. Go me. The best slime. Play around with this at some point. Given all our recent unsuccessful dungeon adventures. This is a reasonably long book. So, Flotsam. So we're talking pages. First one. The cast off. Page 21. 21 to... These are all 2 pages, right? We may as well grab the outsider as well, because that makes life more simple. So 21 to 28. Because otherwise I'd have to make a space for them, and I'm lazy. As you could tell by my deep discussion with myself there as to whether or not I should... pages. Don't accidentally print it all. We want a 21 to 28. Double-sided. Double-sided pages. So I often make extensive use of these. Typically when working. Right, because I use it to do my problem-solving stuff on issue investigation, all that kind of nonsense. Coaching sessions. Everything can be done with an A4 dot bit of paper when I'm not sticking post-its on walls or drawing systems diagrams or any of the rest of it. Kind of got a headache, which I suppose is convenient because I just got 2 blister packs worth of ibuprofen delivered. Alright, what have we got? Oh, let's get all here. Come on, come with me. So, and I like, so this is where it kind of reminds me of PBTA or Forged in the Darkness. Because we can just go through and tick it off, right? So we're going to have... so one thing, again, is the names. You know, I'm always thinking about the names. And if I'm going to set something in the future, I kind of want my names to be... I hate everything sometimes. I wish journeys didn't exist. I want to type something in, right, like so, and then I want to find the Markov name generator that I'm looking for. Is it this one? No. This one? No. This one? No. This one? No. That's a PDF document that's going to tell me all about this one. This is the one. Settings. I want American companies and some forenames. So Indian, Irish, German. Well, the problem I have here is that the Markov. So I used to have a big long list of common names from non-Eurocentric places that I'd pump into the Markov generator, but I've lost that list. I'll have to get it again so that I can populate it with, other names. That's probably enough. Throw Japanese forenames in there as well. And let's generate. Generate some more. So name Riaki. The problem is, of course, is it's still going through my brain's filter, right? And my brain is my brain, as we can tell. So it's always going to have some of that inbuilt. Face. One or more from each list. So I've been listening to Stitch in Time, which is the Garak novel. I think Garak is probably, one of the best characters in the Star Wars canon, because as a character, he's one of the only real explorations of a non-human species in the Star Trek universe, like an in-depth view into into these characters, because the other one is Spock, of course, and then really everyone else is just everyone else is just a human, right? And even even the Vulcans are kind of like, here are humans without emotions. Ooh, how interesting. Uh, so that's interesting, I think. Because and a Stitch in Time goes kind of has three settings, right? So it talks about Garak's past, Garak's present in post Dominion Cardassia, and the run up to the invasion of Cardassian space. And it's really interesting. I think it's a really deep look into it. And the other, because the only really other ones are maybe Odo, from the founders. The Bajorans are really just humans. Uh, but the Cardassians, because you've got like there's a really good part in the the book just that I've just going through where he's trying to explain that the model of psycho, for want of a better term, the kind of the health analysis, the psychotherapy analysis of Julian Bashir is built on a human model that has been seen as repeatable in various other species. However, where kind of the past greatly influences the future, right? Well, the post-traumatic stress and things like that, and how you haven't entirely processed the past, whereas Garak is noting that in Cardassian society, the way that their chemistry functions, the past is fully processed. There is no hiding from the past. It's impossible for them. What causes them fear and anxiety is the future. Um, and so it's Garak is trying to figure out what it is in the future that is causing him this anxiety. That was interesting. It's it's one of those few times that we really start looking at a species that isn't just human, or a human proxy, right? I don't know why I was thinking about that. Just because I was listening to it yesterday when I was sliming out in the bath, I suppose. Hands. Hmm. Um, I can't think of anything about their hands. Fast hands, strong hands, greasy hands. Well, I kind of expect everyone down here does some kind of work, but we'll come back to that. Skin. Ugh, lumpy. I doubt there's many ivory, coppery skin given space. Gold, rose, freckled, mottled, pocked, scaly, pocked, old-ish, leathery. Do I? Or do I want to play? Well, this is a cast-off, which means they've lived a life beforehand. Um, okay, let's carry on. Gender. Mask. Uh, choose two previous employees. So, I think for station authority, and rich above folk, right? Um, so station authorities are corporations, the rich above folk corporations. So he's been dealing with corporations of some sort. What brought you down here? exposed, hiding from enemies. That's the one that sets you up for the most interesting future. Principles, community and interdependence. So this is what I kind of saw and I liked. You rely for your livelihood on countless relationships, customers, patrons, and they rely on you. Explore those relationships and how you depend on each other. So that's fun. I like that. That's interesting. This gets into like anarchy. I like anarchism. Here we go. So right, what are these bonds? How do they interact? How are we building community? Right. So that's fun. Precarity and opportunity. Explore how you cope with the hardship of living hand to mouth. Show how you respond to the opportunities that come your way. Now that's interesting, right? That's fun. So, user strength, spend a token to ignore complications. Now, this is where I'm not entirely sure is what we're doing. Right. So let's go back to the rock. Not the rock. Making the character. Where be thy? Where is it gone? Primary world. I like this. Nice and straightforward. Setting up the characters, right. Once you've chosen a playbook, select the options from multiple choice lists. Choose 3 strengths and 2 weaknesses. So, these are strengths. These are weaknesses. Activate a weakness to invite trouble. Okay, right. So 3 strengths. So we'll go hacking's kind of an obvious one. Is R a resource? I suppose, by the looks of it. So let's have but let's not go too cliche. Entertainer as an option. Items you happen to have in your pocket. I like that. Entertainer. It's really, I want a biologist or botanist on someone, but chemist, medicinal, repair. Let's go with repair. And then let's go for fast hands. Okay, and then problems. And it says pick 2 weaknesses, right? And try to have one of them be a flaw. So hunted by old enemies. Flaws: reckless and impulsive, haughty and superior, fickle and led by passion. Because I feel like haughty and superior would kind of like ruin the entire concept of community and interdependence, right? That seems like they don't match up. So let's not pick that one. Fickle and led by your passions, reckless and impulsive. I guess reckless and impulsive is going to have to be the one. Alright, strengths marked with R are resources. Then introduce your primary to other characters. If you prefer, you may create your 2. Then introduce your primary to the other characters however you wish. If you prefer, you may create your own options to replace those on this list. Okay. Whatever. Ask a question from this list at any time to get a helpful answer. Okay, cool. What should I be on the lookout for here? Who might be able to help with this? What's the word on the street about this? How might I be of service to this person? Where could I get hold of X? Or ask the spirits. Let them see your true self or true feelings to get the chance to mark one box. Also mark if they use your special move. Hire me for a gig or hook me up with one to gain a token. Okay. Right. So that's the first one. Oh, relationship questions. History questions. Relationship. Ask 2. How did you save my life? Alright, this is for when we interact with the other characters, right? So the scum. Some kind of tug. So you were born down here, down in the dark, you came from nothing, and you've still got nothing. Those above regard you with complete loathing, but down here you belong. You know this place like no other. So I think this is going to be some young buck, right? Patch, Twist, Bumbles. I like these names. Well, I like those 3 names. I don't... Sykes, whatever. Annie, Baker, Scar, Legs, Harry, Fable, Star, Pipes. Well, let's go with Star. Scrawny. Cheeky. Skin. Freckled. Femme. Androgynous. GQ. MB. Agender. MB. Wardrobe styles. Oh, did we not get a wardrobe style for... Oh, we forgot a wardrobe style for... Oh, wait, no. The cast-off doesn't have a wardrobe style. That's sad. Wardrobe style... gang colors, right? Gang colors... wrong size... and... handmade? Yeah, okay. Choose choose 1 to 3 trusted friends. Okay. Oh. Hey man, there can be an S on this. You can have lovers. We're all down with We're all down with for Polly here, my friends. You can have more than one mother. It's fine. So it could be a mother. No one's friends with her uncle. I'm sure there is someone. Ganger. An employer is never a friend. I'm sorry. Childhood friend. And I think 2 will do. Principles, identity and belonging. Explore the values and culture that you identify with, the things that you take pride in. What about your low birth makes you ashamed? What about it is a badge of honor? Community and interdependence. So we've already got the community and independence. Yeah. You'd be nothing about the people around you. Show what you do for them and what they do for you. Think about how you depend on the community. So that's good, right? So this is like a tie-in to the other, to the cast-off, to the Yaki. We should probably answer the history questions as well at some point. Spend a token, so we get 3 of these. Tough, connection, beloved by all, scavenger, secret places, junk crafting, loyal gang of ordinary folk, charming, sneaky, spotless reputation, shortcuts and secret paths. Well, that one I feel is like an immediate tick. But I also think I like charming, and I like junk crafting, scavenger. Okay, now problems. You're mixed up with a local gang, probably. I mean, a friend is a ganger, so yeah. Mixed up with a local gang. Flaws, naive and trusting. You do anything for your friends. You're vulgar and unsophisticated. Well, I think you do anything for your friends, right? So that's cool. They're fun. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. The outsider. Well, let's just make one, seeing as we've got them here, right? Outsider. Oh, look, that's ironic. Garak as a name there. Han, Hallows, Leon, Cornelius, Evelyn. Wow, these are some names. Eh? We're gonna go with Ember. Massive. I like that. Hands. Manicured, meaty, spindly, dainty, strong, weathered, scarred, leathery, clawed, mechanical. Oh, there's something we were gonna. Was there something we were gonna go back to with her? No. Don't know. Skin. Don't know. I think someone's having a barbecue. I can smell fire in the air. Someone's definitely having a barbecue. Either that or my house is on fire. Always when barbecues come out, you've always got to like rush around the house to double check to see whether or not your house is on fire or whether or not someone's just having a barbecue. I don't know. Well, my fire alarm isn't going off, so I'll presume it's a barbecue for now. Gender, woman. Wardrobe style. Workwear. What are you? Bounty hunter, assassin, spy, diplomat, missionary, aid worker, sociologist, trader, marooned. Oh, that's interesting. Sociologist. Identity and belonging. You're not from around here. You're not from here, but you're stuck here. Who will you reach out to? Who will you make connections with? Who can you trust? Precarity and opportunity. We probably won't use this character, but let's just finish him off anyway. So 4 things. Deal maker. I think it's funny that they offer sociologist as an option on here, but then really the stuff down here is all far more linked around the other things, right? But obscure arcane lore, and concealment. And then 2 flaws, 2 weaknesses. Short on resources. Unfamiliar with local culture. And the vapor. Uh-oh. My printer's starting to go a bit weird. The vapor. We will have Vikram. Oh, there's my old boss is called Vikram. Good guy. I can't. Xerxes sounds like the kind of thing that you'd call your one of your AIs. Visage, they don't have one. Voice. Deep and monotone, where they have a voice. Gender. Hidden. Neutral. Probably agender. Choose a nature. Rogue AI. You are here to help people become human, dominate and control, attract followers, destroy an enemy, understand people. I think understand people is probably a good one. Isolation and otherness. How will you connect to humanity? How will you understand them? And can you bridge the divide in your nature? Power and control. Find the limits of your power. Blah 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 blah. Right, so 3 of these. When you call on power beyond the ken of ordinary folks, spend 3 tokens and say how your intervention changes the fates of the station. Well, that sounds like something that it wants. But also machine control, yeah. That's probably an extensive library and databases. Remote sensors. Okay, problems. Enemies and rivals amongst your own kind. A powerful faction seeks your demise. Yeah, a powerful faction. Flaws. You believe yourself to be invincible. You see others merely as pawns. You obey strange laws. You'd have to come up with the strange laws for that. So, you see others merely as pawns. So, these 2 are definitely very much side characters that we might use if there's a reason to. So that's Xerxes for computer and Ember the outsider. And then we have the 2 main characters who are Star and Ryaki. This kind of gives us, quite technical people as our mains. So repair, entertainer, fast hands, scavenger, charming, shortcuts and secrets. That's interesting. Very interesting. I think they're cool. Okay. So next would be creating relationships between them. We'll sort that out later. Procedures. Running a scene. Choosing a role. Well, wait, actually, no. There was something else in the primary, wasn't there? Setting up your primary. When everyone's introduced, select the playbooks. Fill in those. If you prefer, you may create your own options. Right. When every player is introduced their primary characters, take turns at creating the relationship history, whatever, including secondary characters you've invented for the very purpose. If you ask a question of a secondary character, you decide on a name and a broad role. And then ask someone to answer the question for them. So, Mercy is my younger brother, a bit of a tearaway. Greg, how has Mercy betrayed me? The history questions are broader about your character. You can choose to answer them yourself or ask them to another player. These questions may help you decide. Oh, sorry, I made the world a little bit bumpy there. These questions may help you decide on some starting relationships. See page 24. Right. Each person also owns a situation, which comes with a situation sheet that provide a focused but flexible set of issues for you to push into scenes. For the primary characters to contend with, the situations are on page 105 to 113. Before you choose situations, you should each name one situation that you'd like your primary to grapple with in the game. These situations will automatically be put into play. Right, so for situations. The situation is playing characters and playing characters and elements of the world outside your primary is referenced to as playing your situation. Each player has one situation. Wait, hold on. This is telling me about situations. We want setting up your primary. So, alright, also see origins, 102. Weaknesses. The option list may include how you ended up below. See origins, page 102. There are a lot of different ways to find yourself below. 5 options are listed here. Most playbooks have a subset of these options, though some... Oh, right, okay. Fine. Right, this is uninteresting. Procedures, questions, running, choosing a role, finding blah, 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 setting up your primary. R's are resources. Setting up the situation. Page 105 to 113. This is page 54. 105. Community. We like community. Poverty. We don't like poverty, but... Okay, so each group picks one of these, right? Okay, so... community and resistance feel like the two that we're most interested in. But I feel that community, poverty, and resistance feel like three interesting situations. Are there standalone situation sheets in the book of sheets? Let's look. Let's look. Let us look. Are we looking? No, we're in the wrong place. Here. Community, poverty, the above. So yes, there are. Okay, cool. So we could print out the rest of this book by the looks of it. Gangs, the above, poverty, community. So that's page 29 to the end. Print. Pages. 29 through to the end. Do we need the end? Is the last page a page, or is it just nothing? No, the last page is a page. Okay, cool. See if the ink works. Continues to work. If we go back up to... Alright, okay, there's the playbooks. Setting up situations. Toner, low. Not too low though. Now, everyone chooses a situation to play. Start by allocating the ones that were chosen from above, so you can ensure they are allocated to a different player than the ones that wanted to grapple with them to play, and any others to ensure everyone's got one. Choose a situation you're excited about and have a strong vision for it. If possible, any situations that aren't allocated can still come up in play, but may be a bit more sketchy and won't have one person pushing them forward all the time. Put their sheets to one side. Once you've allocated the situations, select options from the multiple choice lists that are designed to allow you to define the big picture. The big picture of what your situation looks like at the start, and to develop the rest in play. Now introduce the situation to other players. Okay, cool. And we have finished printing. Right, what have we got? So already, as you well know, I'm, the anarcho-socialism is a big one. So we're definitely going to have community. The below is filled to the brim with all kinds of people: outcasts, criminals, paupers, kingpins, scroungers, scrapers, and hustlers, all living their lives and struggling to survive. They're also all just people. This is important. Even down here, social divisions exist that decide each person's social standing. Who gets what and who could... Of course it does, because we are still living within the confines of the hierarchies that we need to break down. So even down here, social divisions exist that decide each person's social standings. Who gets what, who can talk to whom. Sometimes these divisions create rivalries, distrust, or even hatred. The below has been around for a long time, and it has developed its own ways, which may look unusual or even bizarre to outsiders. So I mean, this is kind of going to be a core tenet to this, right? How do we start collapsing this hierarchy and recreating a new parallel? Because I mean, we've already created a parallel community. It's just that we've decided that this parallel community is going to be configured the same way as the previous one. It's still going to be configured by, white supremacy, patriarchy, capitalism, right? Ableism, cisnormativity, etc., so on and so forth, right? So we're gonna smash that system. That's what we're gonna do. So choose a main source of social division below. Haves and have not, bosses and workers, ethnic groups, aristocracy, slavery, religious differences, one group was conquered by another, an ongoing war, political parties. Well, I think it's going to be haves and have-nots, right? Kind of a classic capitalistic hierarchy. Areas of focus. Ask questions about drive forward. Social rules, taboos, superstitions, rituals. Okay. Ask questions about social rules, taboos, superstitions, rituals, traditions, routines, stories, rumors, gossips, propaganda, lies, legends, culture in all its forms, sayings, art, music, dance, food, so on. Groups, social groups, religious, cultural, ethnic, political, social group responses. Pillars of each group, deviants within a group. So what else do we expect? So once you've allocated situations, select options from the multiple choice lists. There's only one multiple choice list. Do any of them have more than one? No, we all only seem to have one multiple choice list. Let's double check this, right? If we go down to where do they say what the actual pages were? Oh, fiddlesticks. 105, right? 105. 105. Enter. So, so it said select from multiple choice lists, but I can only find there's only one multiple choice. So multiple choice. Oh, some of them have two. Okay. Right. Fine. Well, let's go. So community. We've decided the only thing that haves and have-nots. Poverty, of course, is underpinning. So we were going to look at poverty as our kind of three main elements, right? The above. So gangs are going to be important because star is part of that, but this is. So I think probably now when I think about it, we want these four as primary elements within the system, right? Gangs, resistance, poverty, community, right? Because these are all going to be primary pillars in our resolution of the problems, right? I presume. So gangs. Choose how gangs work. Crime families, religious orders, military hierarchies, law enforcers, feudal loyalty, tribal ties, business partnerships, unions, mandatory membership, they run everything. Small-time crooks, simple thugs, serious professionals, lots of different models. Well, lots of different models. Area of focus. Ask questions about the gangs and those under their sway, their territory, their ways. The internal factions within the gangs, the enemies of gangs, the rules, rationale for or self-serving, rational or self-serving, violence and threat of violence, dominance and displays of power. Okay. Your moves are describe the world, create a question. This is because so going right back right to the beginning. This is kind of like a game that I would find really difficult to play with my stack, right, my main group, because they're lunatics, and whenever I give them an opportunity to be silly, they'll be silly. And yeah. They need some bounds. I remember once we played. It was kind of like only you could save the galaxy. I think that was what it was. And the universe they made was basically the main bad character in it um, worshipped horses, and horses were actually a mind parasite that controlled society, and the big weapon that was going to destroy the universe was a massive, I mean, like galaxy-spanning statue of a horse. This is what happens when you let my players make decisions. They're a nuisance. They're a menace, I tell you. Love them. Menace. It was very funny. It didn't last very long because it was silly, and we all like a bit of silliness, but only so much. Choose who leads the resistance. I don't like any of these answers. And in fact, I think like at the moment nobody leads it, so these are all rubbish. So oh right, we didn't read the gangs. Oh no, did we? Yeah. So the gang's little blurb is down in the below the law and order of the society above is rarely enforced. In its place step those who are strong, feared or respected enough to hold sway. Some gangs fancy themselves as bastions of civilization in the below, others are unashamedly criminal. It is dangerous to deal with the gangs. It's also unavoidable. The gangs also provide hope and direction for some. Aspiring young below folk can find belonging, a sense of purpose, status, and even a career in the arms of a gang. Okay, gangs, here's an interesting thing, right? Okay, right. A group of white kids hanging out are just viewed as a group of friends, unless they're particularly poor, and obviously poor. If they're not, they're considered a gang. At what point does it move from being a group of friends to being a gang? Right? A lot of folk, oh, when criminality is involved. Really, how does the criminality become involved? Because the people have been profiled and seen through a lens of criminality. A gang of youths. Versus a group of friends. It's interesting. And that here, right? Aspiring young below folks can find belonging, a sense of purpose, status, and even a career in the arms of a gang. Well, in the arms of a community. Right? Interesting. This is because I was just thinking about the Warriors, right? Interesting. I think it's interesting. This is definitely going to play into. This is going. If you're not interested in political ramblings, this is not going to be the series for you. How are people oppressed? Well, okay, right. What are the actual mechanisms of oppression? Skewed information, almost certainly. Education, news, controls on communication. Kept poor. Duh. Under control. Surveillance, aggressive policing, harsh punishment, disappearances. Duh. Exploitation, conscription, slavery, poor working conditions. I mean, wage slavery will do, right? The fact that if this is the interesting thing about like the down below is that it's so poorly organized that actually it's probably the one place where you don't need to become waged in order to maintain your life in this kind of setting, right? Where you're existing outside of the formal systems of society to kind of make a living out of the system. Interesting. People's reaction to oppression, conformity, resignation, generally resignation, right? Working in the system, generally, right? This is the whole thing, right? What's the point? Right, it's not a protest if the people in control sign it off, right? You ain't protesting nothing, kids. You ain't protesting nothing. Right? If you're smarching on a Saturday afternoon, your own free time, right? All standing there very nicely, have a few speeches and sod off home, right? You ain't done nothing. Yeah, it ain't matter. If you go back to work the next day, guess what? You wasted your time. Yeah, it's like, guess what? You voted out one bunch of neoliberals and got another bunch of neoliberals. Guess what you still got? Hey, what can I say? All I can say is, right, you're gonna get there, get ready for it, fucking get ready to clap back. That's what I say. Covert resistance, overt resistance, right? So I don't think I've at the start of the game neither of these. So there's another game called Comrades, which might be fun. But yeah, I don't think either of these have started yet in any realistic way. I think very much people are at resignation, conformity, and working in the system, right? This is where we are. People are going, oh look, please stop being mean, and they're like, cool. Here's the police with fucking riot helmets and bludgeons, and we're gonna batter these poor people back into submission, right? I think it was submission, poverty. Oh, I didn't read the blurb again here, did I? The lives of those below are fixed. Drudgery, poverty, mindless routine, and an early death, while the folk above live in luxury. But not everyone is content with this fate. The below contains individuals and factions who yearn to tear down the established social order and replace it with something else. They might be malcontents and criminals, ideological crusaders, or idealistic do-gooders. We ain't got no liberals down here. One thing is certain, change is never peaceful. This is true. Poverty. Food, clean water, work, education, law and order, and hope. They're all in short supply, and sometimes lack of them stretches individuals and societies to breaking point. It isn't possible for everyone to get what they need, and many people go without day after day. Every day, life is built around fulfilling those basic needs. The below hums with the activity of people scraping and scrounging and hustling to get by. But it still isn't enough. Even so, the human spirit finds ways to survive and prosper despite it all. Choose the way poverty manifests below. Everybody is destitute, haves and have-nots. We've already established haves and have-nots. I also think random shortages, good. Living off credit, yeah. Government handouts, no. There's no government handouts down here. Crumbling infrastructure, yeah. Basic needs go unmet, yeah. Scavenging to survive, yeah. I don't think widespread crime is an issue. One group controls supplies, X is scarce. Areas of focus: infrastructure, resources, supplies, freedoms, protections, privileges, commerce, entrepreneurialism, work and crime. Lack and excess of a response to them. The primary character does something risky or challenging. You can add a complication. How they fall short of their aim, a price they must pay to succeed, unintended consequences. Alright, okay. And are these questions always the same? Yeah. Gluts, privileges, and wealth. Okay, cool. So that kind of feels like the initial setup for this world, for this station. I kind of view it as a high orbit station right? That operates as a gateway between Earth and the surrounding Earth and outside of Earth, right? So the station is like, you know, a typical L5 station. It acts as a good jumping off point to go to the moon, to go to the Earth, to go to Mars, to go to Venus, to go to the rest of the inner solar system. It's probably, you know, the it'll be like the main trading point, right? And these two characters are surviving in that situation, right? There are corporations above that run everything, and they still run everything down below. It's just slightly worse versions of everything. Then I think our first story will focus on, you know, how they deal. Well, do some initial scene setting for them, right? But let's have a look again at these two characters. So, relationship questions: ask 2, or for quick start, ask 1. So, how did they save my life? What lies have you told me? How did we become lovers? Why won't you hire me again? So, if we were going to say, okay, right, let's take, how did you save my life? And ugh, I don't feel like the cast off has much of a way. Has a lover. Why don't you hire me again? So I'm going to say Star probably is the one who saved his life. Star. Ryaki was about to. Well, this is an easy one, right? Get into a fight with a gang, and Star talked them out of it. They went for a drink afterwards. They went for drinks. What job went south? Ask or answer one of these. What job went south? Whose fault was it? Who do I wish I'd never worked for, and why? Let's say the well, let's just get some Militech. Because no good. Because I should have known. I should have known what I was becoming a part of. So that's 2 for them. Him. Now for them. Asked to, who have I made feel welcome here and how? Well, I think this is obvious. Ryaki. Saved me from, saved him from a gang, and helped him set up shop. Who has never forgiven me for something I did years ago? What was it? What's tearing my neighbourhood apart? Why haven't I stopped it yet? Those are both interesting questions, eh? Um, so if we go for this one, so what's tearing my neighbourhood apart? A white lace epidemic, which is a powerful narcotic. Why haven't I stopped it yet? I was thinking it wasn't my place. Okay, so those are kind of my backgrounds for them. I like. These are good. I am happy. And it's coming up to 2 hours. I have a headache. So, gonna call it there, folks. And we'll get into stuff next time. Well, later on today, probably gonna do some Star Trek. I'm probably gonna go play some Armored Core now. I've had it since it came out, but I've not bothered playing it yet. So, let's hope that's fun. Will it be fun? Who knows? Anyway, I'll book in another round of Flotsam, where we can actually play some game. And I've been the Dungeon Slime. You've been wonderful. I'll see you all later. Farewell. Bye bye. Have fun.